guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to actually read some of the reports from the canine dog search when they brought in the dogs through the house and stuff. So just going to read you the reports here. The first one is going to be from Officer Catherine Lyons. Okay, so on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, at approximately 11:45 a.m. in the state of Colorado, county of Weld, town of Frederick, Officer Kate Lyons responded to the police department and met with a search and rescue team and their canines for search efforts regarding the disappearance of Shanann Watts and her two children. After being briefed on the situation, I, along with Officer Perez, Deputy Talk, I don't even know how to say that, Talk. I don't know, but Boulder County Sheriff Jane Zimowski and Jeff Hybert, search and rescue dogs of the United States, responded to the home of the missing individuals. Upon arrival, I contacted Chris Watts and explained to him that the Frederick Police Department brought in some extra resources, search dogs, to help locate his family. With his permission, he allowed a full search of his home. Prior to the beginning of the search, Deputy Talk explained what would be needed for the dogs to have a successful search. She explained the need to collect scent articles. While speaking with Chris about appropriate items such as shoes and clothing, she stated the importance of the items not being touched by anyone else. Each time Deputy Talk asked Chris about specific items, he mentioned that he had in some way touched them. Deputy Talk was able to collect the scent from shoes. Upon entry to the home, I immediately noticed a strong odor of cleaning chemicals. The home appeared spotless, and the carpet had noticeable vacuum lines. Yeah, because he was up all night cleaning, like even that one interview. Remember the one I just put out, Jeremy Lindstrom, how he said, when they were over, he was like, okay, well, I got to get back to cleaning. Like, what do you got to get back to cleaning? Like, cleaning what? Well, duh, we know now, but like, didn't his friends find that odd? Like, what are you trying to clean up? But it sounds like, like they thought, maybe it was like a nervous thing that he was doing because he was nervous. I don't know. But gosh, man, if there was any evidence or DNA or anything, he was cleaning it up. So sounds like he really went to town. But okay, so as we walked to the kitchen living room area, I observed that the television was on a sports show. While standing by the back slider door, Deputy Talk inquired about the little girl's shoes on the back porch. Chris said that the girls wore them to a pool party and the shoes had been wet, so he put them out to dry. During the conversation, Chris mentioned that he had made the girls' beds that morning and had done laundry. He said that he had a hard time sleeping and he is used to one of the little girls throwing chicken nuggets at him and the other one sitting in the high chair. I mean, out of all things to, miss about your children, that's the thing you come up with. Oh, I miss them throwing chicken nuggets at me. This guy, I don't know. Chris was asked about Shanann's car and if she drove it to the airport, and he said no, Nikki dropped her off. It's the white car out front. He was asked if he drives it, stating the white car in the driveway. No. He was asked if his wife has a car, and he pointed to the garage and said yes. When asked if he drives it, he stated that he took the girls to a pool party in it on Saturday. Officer Perez commented to Chris that he can't imagine what he is going through. While speaking with Chris, he showed no emotion and did not seem to respond appropriately to the situation. Chris did not ask any questions or offer to help at any time. Chris's facial expressions rarely changed. However, when they did, he seemed to smile, smirk inappropriately. Yes, remember those creepy little smirks? It almost reminded me like how that the duping delight or whatever, he wanted to smile so bad because he thought, I'm getting one over on them. But it was like he knew it wasn't appropriate to smile, so it's almost like he was trying to fight it, so he kept trying to fight back a smile, so it turned into this weird look, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to smile, his body, involuntarily, not even, he can't even help it because of the narcissist in him, that his body wants to smile, his mouth wanted to smile, and he knew, oh shoot, that's not good. I can't smile. That's not going to look so good. So it was like he was fighting it off. He was fighting his own, body. You know what I'm saying? And so it came across like this weird smile. Like if you notice, he does that. Just watch through the that process, or just even through the interviews, or just that when they come over that whole time, like he just keeps trying to fight off a smile. And I mean, think about that. That is sickening. Like that your body, that you're that bad of a person, and I don't know, you're just so content with what you did that even though you know that it's not right to smile, you know what I'm saying, that but your body, I mean, it's so deep within you that you're just so content that you can't really control your satisfaction. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so you have to try to fight it by like consciously, trying to not smile. You know what I'm saying? And it's that strong that like it's like a fight. You know what I'm saying? And like even him just thinking, don't smile, he can't even help it. Like his body's just doing it, and so he has to fight it physically by trying to make his face not smile. I don't know if that's making sense. What I'm trying to say, but that's what I got from it. That's what it seemed like he was doing to me, but I don't know. Okay, so then this guy picked up on this weird smirk or weird smile. But anyway, so it said he seemed to smile, smirk inappropriately, displaying a lack of empathy, specifically when speaking about his children. His voice remained low and even toned. His nonverbal cues were very apparent. Chris had very erect and almost tense posture, and his arms crossed a majority of the time. Chris lacked eye contact and appeared to be nervous, looking around constantly. Yeah, we know how nervous he looked. I mean, he was. Wow. Chris escorted us through the entire house, showing us each room, including the laundry room, where he dug through dirty laundry and again mentioning that he was doing his kids' laundry. I mean, you would think, where's your priorities at? Why would you even worry about doing your kids' laundry right now when you need to be focusing on, finding them? Like, what? I don't know. I mean, we know now, like, of course, no, he did, so yeah, he's not focused on finding them, but like, not even, he couldn't even pretend. The thing is that is weird because he's so bad at, faking this whole thing or pretending, but yeah, he was so good his whole life at making people believe that he's this person. You know what I'm saying? But then for this, he was just horrible. But I guess because he didn't really have practice, he didn't have, years of practice, number one. Number two, he didn't have anything to model it after. Because, I mean, how many people are you around that kill off their family and then have to pretend, that something else happened or everything's okay? So for him to mimic something like that and to learn the behavior on how to act normal, how to act like a concerned father and husband of somebody where your family's missing, he probably doesn't have that much knowledge and that much experience trying to mimic and you know what I'm saying, trying to copy those behaviors, because when would he have ever thought to try to practice those behaviors and what would it be like to be a caring, loving husband, father that has missing kids? You know what I'm saying? That something could have happened. Like, how do you act for that situation? Because of course he didn't have, it's not like he could act that natural way because he doesn't know, because he doesn't have those feelings. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't really know, because he's really not that person. He's not that loving husband and wife, or loving husband and father. So who does he have? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How much practice could he have really had to be able to fake that? So maybe that's why he was just so bad. He was so bad, but he was so good at faking it, his whole life, where people thought, he was so good at faking it his whole life, but just not in this specific situation. He didn't have experience or knowledge or a lot of, practice on what would be the right way to act in the situation, so with him not having just like a natural understanding, because he doesn't really feel that way because he's not that person, then he would have to have had some kind of practice or experience to be good at it, because he's not really a loving and caring husband and dad. You know what I'm saying? So he was horrible. He did not know how to act appropriately. So, okay. So prior to beginning the search, Chris was asked to step outside so there was no interference with the dogs. Deputy Perez remained with him, and the front door remained open so that at any time he wanted to discontinue the search, he could do so, and the information could be easily relayed. I entered the home with Jane and her canine, who she stated is a cadaver dog. As we moved through the home, Jane explained that what type of scent the dog alerts to. Jane mentioned several times that the dog alerted to areas where there may have been some sort of trauma or struggle, such as an argument, explaining that scent from people pulls and collects in areas. The dog did not locate any human remains. The search continued from the neighborhood clubhouse, west and then north, circling back to the home without success. Jane's dog was later taken to Chris's work truck, which was parked just east of his home. Jane stated that the dog detected but gave no hard command. However, the dog did not enter the vehicle, and the doors to the vehicle remained closed. So it makes me wonder why they didn't ask to search his car or bring the dogs to the car, because I know he could have refused it, because then they probably would have had to get a search warrant. But at least they ask him, and then he does refuse it, but then you are like, whoa, why is he not letting us search the car? You know what I'm saying? And knowing him, he probably would have said, oh yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, who knows? What do you think he would have said if they would have asked him? Because like they found like a bunch of hair, hair in the car. So, and who knows what else he got out of the car before he actually confessed, like those couple days, So what was in that car when they came? But when the dogs came, that's right. The dogs came the next day, so he already had a day to clean it out, so he probably did clean it out, so he probably would have said yes, huh? Well, no, he didn't clean it out very good, because, they did find, the hair in the car, and then, yeah, that's true, because since they were doing a surveillance on his house without him even knowing, though, they would have seen if he was, cleaning his car out, and be like, wait a minute. I know he did go to his car and got stuff out, but I'm talking about, like, if he was, like, vacuuming and spraying, and, so, I don't know. That'd be interesting to see what he would have said if they would have asked him, okay, can we open the door? These dogs, and have them, sniff around. Would he have been like, no? Like, could you see him actually really saying, no, yeah, no, you can't do that, to get a search warrant? No. I couldn't see him saying no, but then if he would have said yes, I don't know. I don't know. I really think he probably would have just said yes, and then just been like, oh shoot, I don't know. Been freaking out, Okay, so, where are we at? Where are we here? Okay, so, I can't find where we are. So they said, yeah, they didn't enter the vehicle and the doors of the vehicle remained closed. Okay, so while in the home, a track dog was asked to enter, as there had been some indication from the cadaver dog that a struggle or argument may have ensued. Jeff Heiber and his canine entered the home. Jeff stated that his dog showed interest in the unmade bed in the basement and an area just below the stairs, but did not do any final trained alerts. We exited the basement and went upstairs to the garage. No indicators were noted in the garage, and we exited the home. After completion of the canine searches, the canine team was thanked for their help, and they left. I remained in the area to assist with a neighborhood canvass, going door to door handing out flyers and speaking with residents. At approximately 2015 hours, I returned to the PD and was told that we were done for the day. The reports in the map track from the canine team members have been added to the case file. On Wednesday, August 16th, 2018, at approximately 15:30 hours, I reported for duty and was asked to respond to Aggregate Boulevard and Windham Hill to hand out more flyers and contact people in and out of the Windham Hill neighborhood. At approximately 1800, I was instructed to sit on the south side of the house and not allow anyone in or out of the home. I remained at the location until instructed to respond to the front of the house at approximately 2200 hours. At approximately 2112 hours, a search warrant was executed. I was tasked with perimeter security, not allowing anyone not authorized to step on the property. At approximately 2216, I notified Sergeant Bakes that the tow truck arrived on scene. I maintained the crime scene log, and at approximately 2328 hours after completion of the search warrant and evidence had been secured in patrol vehicles, I handed the crime scene log over to FET Officer Walleye and left the scene. Nothing further. Officer K. Lyons. Okay, so now I'm going to read you the other canine one here. So this is from Deputy Katie Tock. Okay. The report will detail a canine track during an agency assist for Frederick Police Department. Canine Scout and I responded to 2825 Saratoga Trail in Erie, Weld County, Colorado to assist Frederick PD in locating a missing mother and her 2 children. Canine Scout and I found no trails leading away from the residence. We advised Frederick police officers of our finding and were released from the scene. Okay, so on 8/14/18 at approximately 10 a.m., Deputy Kate Tock was dispatched along with SARDOS, which is Search and Rescue Dogs of the United States, to respond to Frederick Police Department for a canine track. I obtained permission from Sergeant Mike Linden to respond out of the county with my Canine Scout. Canine Scout is a bloodhound certified in suburban trailing and human remains detection through SARDOS. 2 other SARDOS handlers responded with me. Upon arrival, officers explained that a pregnant female named Shanann Watts, 34 years old, and her 2 young daughters had been missing since 5:30 on 8/13/18. Her vehicle was still at the house, along with her cell phone and any additional clothing or items for the children. Frederick Police Officer Perez then escorted us to the missing woman's address at 2825 Saratoga Trail, Erie, Colorado. After consent was obtained by Christopher Watts, I entered the home with 2 Frederick police officers to collect scent articles to use for the canine track. All laundry had been washed or touched by Chris. Isn't that, So, did he know that the canines were coming? I mean, that's another question I would have. Was he aware like the day before, oh, we're going to bring the dogs? Because why would he, do all the laundry? You know what I'm saying? Like, why, you would think, well, if he knew they were coming, he wouldn't, see, I'm talking about this like he didn't do, like, we haven't caught him yet. So I know, like, we don't know what happened. So I know, well, Dub, obviously, what happened. So yeah, he did the laundry but I'm just wondering if was he aware that they were coming the day before, And if he was, you would think, I would have called him out. Like, well, why are you cleaning? Why are you doing all this laundry when we need to get a scent, So, but I'm not sure. Was it just like that day they're like, oh, you want us to bring the dogs? Or was it like the day before, oh, we're going to bring the dogs tomorrow? And if that's the case, they should have said something like, why'd you do the laundry? Why'd you clean? We need to get scents, But anyway, the beds had been made by Chris since Shanann and her children had disappeared, making it difficult to find a scent article. I asked Chris to point out their shoes. He showed me a pair of flip-flops that Shanann had worn home from the airport. Chris had previously touched the straps of these sandals. While wearing latex gloves, I placed a piece of sterile gauze in the flip-flops under the straps and let it stay there for a few minutes. Chris also pointed out 2 pairs of shoes that his daughters had worn home from a pool party on Saturday. Chris told me he had touched the shoes when he put them on the deck to dry. I placed a sterile gauze down inside the toe portion of each pair of shoes for a few minutes. After the time had passed, I collected the gauze and placed them in Ziploc bags. I exited the house. Chris gave one of the Frederick police officers consent to have a canine search the house. Sardis member Jane searched the house with her canine for human remains. Boulder County Park Ranger Jeff Hybert also searched the house with his canines. Afterwards, Ranger Hybert and I attempted tracks with our canines starting at opposite ends of the block. Afterwards, Ranger Hybert and I attempted tracks with our canines starting at the opposite ends of the block. I scented Canine Scout on the gauze that I had collected from Shanann's shoe and told him to go find. We checked all surrounding intersections within a few blocks of the house. Canine Scout would either show a negative at the intersection or walk along the edge of what appeared to be the scent pool. At one point, Canine Scout turned north from Wyndham Park into a field between Saratoga Trail and Steeple Rock. He circled the tanks in the field, but lost interest, and I brought him back to Wyndham Park. So, he circled the tanks in the field, but lost... I don't know. We then continued checking intersections until we had completely circled the residence within the radius of a few blocks. So the same conclusion. I traced our path on a map provided by Frederick officers and gave it to Officer Perez and advised him of our findings. We were released from the scene, nothing further. So case closed, it says. So it shows, this map of where they, the path that they took where they searched a map of, the neighborhood and the roads and stuff. So